The tanks will want to situate themselves as shown here, back against Yogg-Saron and fairly close to him but with a small buffer. This will allow splash damage between the Guardians and Yogg-Saron to overlap slightly. Allowing the small buffer both gives damaged players a location where they can face the Guardians without needing to worry about lunatic gaze, and gives the tank a small window to easily reposition by backing up if a spawn is stuck to their back for any reason later in the encounter. Tanks alternate picking up spawns to split the ever-increasing damage load more evenly, as well as to allow a larger window for direct threat generation. Multi-target attacks to retain threat over the entire pile will be necessary. As the 5th Guardian arrives, first beacons will be placed on the spawned adds. The lower health targets will always be selected, meaning the first 3 Guardians spawned will become marked. We used a custom mod to put marks on the adds with the changed name, Mark Immortal Guardian, on mouseover. These marks would indicate which player would be responsible for pulling each specific Guardian out in a separate direction, one left, one right, and one directly away from Yogg. While 3 hunters would be ideal for the task, we do not have access to a third. Instead, we used a damage warrior wearing a shield. While the hunters are able to drop their adds via feigned death, or have them drop automatically when distracting shot expires, the warrior's taunt inherits threat from the previous tank. We used our paladin tank's righteous defense to taunt the stray guardian back into the pile without having to sift through the pile for the specific icon. Once the guardians are returned to the pile, a pre-assigned portion of the Yogg-Saron damage turns and burns them back down to size. Combined with the ongoing rogue fan of knives damage, this is sufficient to keep the spawns at low health throughout the duration of the Empower, without risking threat management issues from pure area effect damage. While it is tempting to splash heavy damage over the large number of targets, recall that at any given time, most of those targets are at 0% health and that the overkill damage does not contribute to the encounter in any useful way. As there will be multiple mid-health guardians in the pile, tanks will want to rotate at least one survival cooldown each Empower. In the event that one marked immortal is not pulled from the group, the team assigned to keep the regenerating immortals in check will have to resort to mass AE. Threat suppression abilities such as Mirror Image or Fade are strongly recommended. Mages may wish to consider blinking to near the healer camp and channeling Blizzard on the immortals while keeping their back to Yogg. If 2 or all 3 of the marked immortals remain in the stack, raid survival is very unlikely. After the first beacon, it will become nigh impossible. The Empower will occur every 40 seconds after the first one. While there will only be 3 empowered guardians each time, the cloud of low health immortals will rapidly grow. This causes several problems, ranging from a steady increase in damage to the tanks to a slowly increasing system burden. Players on weaker systems or even mid-range systems will begin to notice their frame rates steadily decline as the encounter progresses. The increasing number of health bars can also potentially make clicking the correct mark more difficult for the beacon handling team. Finally, as fight time increases, the relative probability of a minor error spiraling out of control proportionately increases. Thus, while the encounter can theoretically be sustained as long as necessary, it is best to aim for finishing Yogg-Saron in 4 beacons if possible, 5 if absolutely necessary. The boss's 15-minute berserk timer is a complete non-issue. Other factors will cause your raid to be overwhelmed long before reaching that mark. Thanks for watching this movie. As per usual, feel free to ask questions or add suggestions either on YouTube or in the strategy thread on TankSpot.com. Also, TankSpot donors can download all of these movies in high definition directly from our servers. Click on the second link in the movie information box to learn more.